So I walk into this place and they go, you can always tell who's from out of town. And I think, oh, someone's going to get got, here's one of them gotcha moments. It's clearly not going to be me. I've lived here for a minute, and I had a few mistakes in the past. Like when I first moved here and I lived here all of 2 seconds, I thought I was a resident. Nah, I went to like a prominent area of town and I was walking around having one of those exterior moments new place. This is my town. Well, it's not like my town, but I live here now. You know what I mean? And I'm walking around and I look so out of place. You wouldn't even believe. I was wearing a California tank top, old Armani pants, which I don't even know why. You just on the West Coast, you just buy things you don't need, and flip flops. That's right. What? That's not how you introduce yourself to the Midwest. So, anyways, I walk into this place and I thought they were about to have one of them gotcha moments because this guy goes, you can always tell who's from out of town. And I'm thinking, not me. Now I've lived here for a minute. He goes, when you start wearing 2 jackets too early. You start looking around. You clearly now know they might be talking about you because I was, in fact, wearing 2 jackets. But, you got to play it off like it's not you. Hopefully there's somebody else that they're talking. You just walked in. Maybe they didn't pick you out of the crowd. You just start looking around like who, looking up in the rafters. Maybe somebody up there. And no luck, Joe. You try and just name some random name. Hey, no, it's you. And, in my defense, yes, I did have 2 jackets on. Winter has come. But this time, there's actual snow. Not that there wasn't snow last time. It was just a warm winter. I won't bore you with the details. I already did. So, but this winter, intense. So, 2 jackets. Because my clothes are still from the West Coast. And they just look comfortable. But if they actually provided any warmth, well, you die. You can't have warm clothes on the West Coast. Are you kidding me? No, that would be a no-go. So out here, I got to double up just to make one jacket work. Like some jackets have they look like they're 2 jackets sewn together, right? And they're like, oh, that looks, you got fur. Yeah, it's real cozy. Yeah. Mine is like a fake sewn in. It's just one little flap sewn in cleverly to make it look like there might be extra material. There's no extra material. So I got to layer up. So I got, but you got to prepare for this winter because driving in this, I thought driving in the rain was bad. One, I never thought I'd care so much about the weather in general. My new favorite app on my phone is the weather app. I know. I'm looking, not just that, I'm looking at the actual data, folks. Okay? I'm nowhere close to one of them weathermen, but I got the jokes. And so, you do your little doodad, right? And you pull it up. And I try to find a local resident to try and help me. So we look at the map together. He doesn't know what he's looking at either, but he's from around here. So I figure his brain, this app, I got nothing to offer because I was wearing 2 jackets too early, right? And now, who knows what to do? So, because I was getting nervous about driving in the snow, because there was one night I was leaving, and this guy, because when it snows, it's still a fun occasion, right? It's cool, right? It's frozen water. That's a powderish type, you know what I'm saying? So, I was leaving and this guy's like, oh my goodness, it's snowing outside. And I froze because I've never been out of the house while it's snowing. It's one thing when you're inside and you're like, whoa, that's cool. And then you turn on the heater, and you're like, oh, well, I control the temperature in this, whatever, square footage. So, there was one time we were driving through a drive-through and it was cold. This was, way back home. And so it wasn't that cold, but back there, no offense to my girlfriend, but she's a little cold-blooded. No, my kneecaps will get broken for that. That's That's a rough business. If anyone was like, "Hey, that comment will get you beat," well, there goes my kneecaps. So there you go. You can't call somebody cold blooded, but she's cold all the time. It could be 90 degrees, and she'll have three sweaters on, going, "I'm cold." I'm like, what? How are you gonna survive out here when it snows? Where you're just gonna freeze, and then we're gonna have to thaw you out by what? May, June? When does it warm up around here? Somebody says it could snow all the way till March or through March. I'm not really sure. So someone goes, "Hey, it's snowing outside," and I freeze. I go, What do I do?" And he goes, "I don't know. It's just snowing outside." I wasn't looking for a conversation. I was just saying, "Hey, it's snowing outside." I was looking for an additional comment, but I'm like, "No, wait, you told the wrong guy your excitement about the snow, because now I'm out of my elements. I gotta get home. And what do I do?" I remember just like walking out to the car, turning it on, going, "Okay, well, that's one thing." Putting my seatbelt on, going, that's another thing. Wait, a seatbelt can't gonna help me do what? And then, the guy tried to ease my conscience a little bit before I got in the car and just froze on the steering wheel. He goes, "No, no, it's really cool. When you start driving through the snow, it's like driving through hyperspace in Star Wars." And I thought, well, that's an experience I don't have to try. Luckily, it wasn't really that snowing that much, so I kind of like, skated by a little bit, because it was just like kind of dusting, not really snowing. Although coming home late from an airport, well, I slipped. You gotta watch out for the snow or the ice. I'm not really sure. We'll get to that in a moment. But we were coming back from the airport one night, and our flight got delayed like a bunch of times. And, you play the whole like, you have to have all the answers, which I don't know what's going on. Plane's not here. So when the plane finally landed and we were finally home, I wanted to take a nap. So I passed out in the car, and we started driving home. And then I wake up. You ever just like open your eyes? I opened my eyes to what I considered to be, well, hyperspace. It was fascinating at first. You open your eyes, like, whoa, hyperspace, and then you go, wait a minute, that's not real at all. So what is actually happening? And you realize that you're driving in a blizzard. Well, I'm not driving in a blizzard, because if I was asleep and then woke up and you guys all know what I'm trying to get to. But I froze, double froze, because I wasn't frozen in the car. The heater was on pretty warm. I was asleep, so the other person was driving, and so it was cranked up to the max. So I wake up, and I don't want to freak out, because if I freak out of nowhere, right, and we're in a whiteout blizzard storm, we're gonna drive off wherever we are. You couldn't see anywhere around the car. I looked out and you could see nothing. I just saw snow, maybe. Well, of course it was snow, but that was it, and it was just all over the place. That's why they call it. You can't see. I saw like the lights of a semi truck, which I think was the only thing that she was using to guide her way home. That and the GPS maps, right? I had a guy the other day tell me that he was in a blizzard so bad driving in the mountains that the only thing that he could do was pull up GPS and use that as his road map. And I was like, the GPS isn't going to tell you if there's like a cliff. And he goes, "What choice did I have? I can't see out the window. I need to know where I'm going, i.e., the phone." And I just thought, you're going to do this and not look outside. Well, you can't see outside. So it's crazy out there. So I'm trying to use this like my local resident to warn me about all this stuff before I have to experience it by myself. I mean, luckily I skated by both times, not having to deal with it. And I saw on the weather app, anytime I see something, I gotta double check it with somebody, like, hey, look at this. Does this mean I'm not okay? And so I saw there was a cold front coming. It was going to be negative temperatures. It's cool sometimes when I look at my phone and I go, "Oh, hey, 30 degrees. That's interesting." And then you walk outside and you go, "Oh my goodness, that's actually a little cold outside." And you go, "Yeah, 30 degrees. That's like what your refrigerator. That's like being inside of your worse than your freezer. 30 degrees. That's freezing. What am I thinking?" So, and then the one time I saw 0, I was like, what happens at 0? Does the earth just crack? I mean, 0 temperature? Was it? Is the earth having a stroke? Like, what happens at 0? And you find out that 0 is just way colder than 30. And then it goes below that. My girlfriend, I told her about that, and she goes, well, I'm not leaving the house. I'm like, what do you mean you're not leaving the house? She goes, well, I didn't sign up for negative. I didn't know it could get that cold. I'm not leaving. I'm going to sit right here. I might put myself in that fire. You know what I mean? Just to stay warm forever. Cause I didn't, what is that? And you go, well, it's the cold. You know, when you have really nothing to say, but you try and you got nothing. It just makes her more upset. You're like, well, you got to deal with it. No, I don't. Well, I guess you're right. If you're refusing to go outside. Negative temperatures. So I walked over this guy and I said, hey, look, we got cold front coming in. It's 30% chance of snow. And the guy looked at me right through my right here. So you know that he's about to lay down some knowledge. And he goes, 30%. Don't worry about it. It's not going to snow. And I go, okay, good. So I just have to worry about freezing temperatures. I don't worry about freezing temperatures. I looked it up. The car, it'll work in freezing temperatures somewhat. I saw some degree and it was way more than what degree it was going to be. So I figured I'd be okay. So I tried, venturing out. And the moment I ventured out, that blizzard hit me like a barn. How I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn? That's because the barn came up and whacked me so many times. Because it was like, dude, I'm over here. Like, that's how big of that blizzard came up so fast. I made one turn. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't see. And not only couldn't see, I was now on the highway and in a blizzard. And it was one of those moments where, like, you can't really turn around. And your only thing is forward, but I can't see. Oh, I panicked. I slammed on the brakes. I know a lot of people are like, don't do that. I know my car, after the snow had settled, it's snow. I don't know why I keep calling it dust, but it like kicks up and it's like a white, it's like a dust cloud of snow. So dust, but snow. And it freezes the window. You can't see. And then the cars kick it up on the windshield and you don't know if your car's dirty or clean or just snowed on. It's confusing. I did know, though, that when the snow settled, I was no longer on the highway. I was in between the highway because my car just went on its own accord. Oh my goodness. I then learned the whole tapping of the brake thing. It's a subtle brake to really get, where you're going. And I go, hey man, blizzard, 30%, what the... I should have listened. This guy a long time ago when we first moved here was like, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. That has been the most solid advice weather-wise I've ever gotten. Because now this guy, the guy that was like 30% not going to happen, he's like, no, Nick, let me tell you the real. You don't have to worry about the snow. I go, what do you mean don't worry about the snow? You can't see. When you can't see, that's horrible. At least, what? Right? Not seeing, not good. And he goes, no. Snow, easy. What you really got to worry about is black ice. I go, whoa. All this time, you haven't told me anything about black ice. What's black ice? He goes, black ice is black ice. Like, there is no other explanation. It's ice. And you can't see it, and your car will just go sliding wherever it wants to slide. And I'm going, but how's like your visuals? He goes, oh, you can see everything else. It's because usually, it's not snowing. It's clear outside. You can't see the ice on the ground. I go, so here are my options. I can either be blinded by a blizzard and not be able to see anything, right? And that's terrifying, as we've seen in the last few minutes. Or I can see where I'm going, but not see the ice and just start sliding for no reason and see my impending doom. So no visuals and impending doom, or visually being able to, I want to see it coming. You know what I mean? I think what I've decided is I want to see it coming. After not being able to see it coming and freaking out, I think seeing but not being able to see the actual danger, but able to see what's coming at me, I think is way better. So with that, I got a lot of learning to do. Well, hey, I'm not the only one making mistakes. Now you gotta throw somebody else under the bus. There was one time where I got this phone call, and it was my girlfriend. And she was out and about traveling in the snow, and she had taken a turn way too fast and just slid right into a bank. Oh my goodness, I ran out there with a shovel. I don't know what I was trying to do. I didn't know how to help. It wasn't like I was gonna be able to lift the car, because she got up. That car was like up on the thing, like it was not moving. I didn't know what to. I just grabbed a shovel. I was like, this might help, right? Because you don't know what to do, but you can't show up empty-handed, right? When you get the call, you can't show up and be like, "Whoa, hey, you got me." Well, you're not enough, and I granted that I don't live in the snow, but I figured if at least I had a tool in hand, that means at least in her eyes I have a plan. As long as you show that you have a plan, even if it's dumb, which when it turns out to be dumb, they'll call you on it. They'll go, where are you even shoveling? Where are you even going? You're like out in the middle of the street waving it in the air like a flag. You're like, oh, I was going to use it as like a caution sign or something. And you're like, whoa, okay, well, I didn't sign up for that brilliance. I thought you actually had a plan. No. Just brought the shovel. Just wanted to make it look like I was ready to solve some things. Luckily, everybody else solved some things. So many people came together to help out. I was amazed. I was like, I just kept saying thank you because there was nothing I didn't know how to help, but I also was so thankful that they were helping us. So I was just, thank you. Thank you. Can I do? Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, no. It was so great. One lady like went out in the middle of the street and was like stopping traffic. There was another person in another car stopping traffic on the other side. Then a guy with a truck had like a rope and like lassoed it like a bull and like he didn't rip the car, but he gently pulled it to safety and like told us what, because we didn't even know what to do. We're like, do we turn the car on? Do we put it in neutral? We were no help. All we could say were just two of us just said, I had a shovel. Thank you. And thank you. And with that, thank you. I gotta get out of here because there's probably something else I gotta shovel. So with that, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Until next time, bye bye.